Guys, gals, and everything in between. Just want to start this video off by saying major spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen the episode yet, you have to go watch it because there are some bombshells dropped. But first off, I just want to apologize, guys. I didn't do videos for the last 2 episodes because I've been very, very busy with some other commitments, and the episodes weren't too critical to the story, but I'm sorry guys, but I'm here now. So this episode, titled Dark Water, is ultimately part 1 of the season finale. And the Doctor is sort of off doing his own thing, but you see Danny Pink on the phone in the beginning. And you know, you're like, oh yeah, oh, they're doing their cute little couple bantering. And then just what? Oh yeah, Danny Pink, boom, dead. That honestly was so shocking. Is just out of nowhere, Danny Pink is dead. I didn't expect that. I honestly didn't expect that. I loved, in the end. At first I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. I was kind of getting to know Danny Pink. I was warming up to him slowly. And by the time you start to kind of warm up to him fully, he's just dead. And Clara goes nuts. That is the understatement of the year, is Clara just goes nuts because she wants Danny Pink. She loves him, she wants to be with him, live off in a cottage somewhere, whatever. Clara goes to the Doctor and tries to trick the Doctor and say basically, I will destroy the TARDIS keys if you don't bring him back. And he basically says, I can't do that. There is a paradox there because it'll change everything. Which they did in that one episode with Christopher Eccleston's Doctor, actually, where Rose Tyler did it, and look what happened. Giant bat things tried to eat the universe. Safe to say, we can't bring Danny Pink back. But then it turns out, this is, you know, I was writing a screenplay about a year ago, and a renowned screenwriter read over my script, and basically the advice he gave was cut out dream segments, because dream segments automatically afterwards almost frustrate the audience because they had fake tension, because they want real tension. They want something they can sink their teeth into and feel the consequences of those actions. Dream sequences eliminate that, because then what happens, oh, that was a dream. It didn't happen, whatever. And then you almost feel like you experienced all of that for nothing. And that's exactly what I felt right there. When that happened, I was like, oh man, this is so intense. Oh, so it was really just, yeah, a dream. Cool, I guess. That was a nice little scene you made there, Moffat. I would have liked to see the consequences more of her destroying the TARDIS keys. And the Doctor basically says, we're going to go get Danny Pink back, but we're not going to do it in the way you think. We're going to actually try and physically go to the afterlife and get Danny Pink back. Now I know what you're thinking. We're like, whoa, we are delving into supernatural territories beyond what Doctor Who normally does. And I think that was fantastic that they did that, and I love the bold risks they took, because ultimately they go to the Nether Sphere. And they go to the afterlife, per se. A character that we've been seeing in just random scenes throughout the entire series shows up, Missy. And Missy does one of... This scene was hilarious. She just lays one on the Doctor and just kisses him up. And you just see the awkwardness with the Doctor, and Clara's kind of amused by it. And the Doctor's just kind of like, what do I do? And she keeps, like, flirtily hinting at her identity with the Doctor, but nothing. And you see Missy, and she's psycho, and she's great because she's unsettling, because as I described her in the beginning of these videos that I've done, is she's Mary Poppins from hell. And she's so cool. I like her as a character. I really love Missy. But as we go on, we have this really just sort of interesting look at the afterlife. I was very intrigued by this world because they've never been there before with the Doctor. And they talk about the afterlife and these various things and what these things are, and made a really great Steve Jobs joke. And I think that the drama between Danny Pink realizing he's dead and Clara, like, the two can't meet in the middle kind of thing. And you're rooting for Danny Pink. This is actually better late than never, I guess. This is the episode that solidly made me say, you know what, Danny Pink's a good character in this show. I'd hate to see him leave, but I don't know. You never know now, because we're apparently in the afterlife. So they go there and they're doing their thing, and they communicate with each other. And Clara's getting frustrated because he just keeps saying that he loves her, but he doesn't want her to go after him. And she's basically like, no, I will chase you to the ends of the earth to get to you. And meanwhile, the doctor goes, I feel like I'm missing something very important. And the doctor breaks away from Clara. And so Clara still is interrogating Danny Pink, and she basically says she will disconnect the call. And she does, because he keeps saying, I love you, and that's not what she wants to hear, because it's basically just getting to her. And then Danny Pink has the option of deleting himself. And we don't know. They leave you on a cliffhanger of that. That's in part 2. And I'm just like, what? Danny Pink can't delete himself? And that was a really clever nod to, I think, the Cybermen, because the Cybermen always say delete, as you guys know. They're like, delete, delete, delete. And but you don't cue onto it. And then all of a sudden the tank's lower, and you start to see it, and you're like, they reveal it, and it's the Cybermen. Yeah, if you watched the trailer, you knew it was the Cybermen all along. But the reveal is still there, because it's almost like you're along for this ride. This story is so well told that you are just like along for the ride. You forget about the trailer, and you forget about all that, and it's like you're watching it, and you're just like, oh my god, the Cybermen. And Clara's realizing it's the Cybermen, and the doctor is trying to figure out what to do, so he's running around trying to warn people, and Missy's out there just toying with him. And then they did it. People of this year, this is one of the biggest, just mind-blown segments put onto a television or movie screen. It's huge. Is Missy, the doctor says, who are you? And she says, oh, you know who I am, doctor. I'm Missy. And he's like, well, who's Missy? And she's like, well, Missy. And then she's toying with him, and she's moving around him. She says, Missy, mistress. And then all of a sudden, when the doctor turns around, he's still kind of like dumbfounded. And then all of a sudden, she says it. The master. And the way she says it was perfect. And she's just like, mistress, the master. And then you're just like, mind blown. I mean, it was one of those theories that I speculated in my Who is Missy video, that it could be the master because of the name Missy, mistress, master, which was pretty I mean, I was like, yeah, that makes logical sense. I mean, I kept banking like on the Susan Foreman theory, and when they did mention that 2 hearts, and I'm a time lady, I'm old-fashioned, I was like, it could be. And I banked on that for the longest time. And then all of a sudden I was like, I don't think it is, because the kiss would be weird. I just want to laying down the law here. Fan fiction writers are just going bananas right now because the master basically smooched the doctor. Just putting it out there. They're already sweaty on their keyboards as we speak. But drop the bomb. Missy is the master. And I was like, because I still was thinking about the Susan theory, and then the master hits, and you're like, that is it. And, you know, I love John Sim as the master. He was crazy, he was over the top, he was eccentric. But I wanted to see him back as the master, and maybe he will in like an anniversary special or something. I don't know. But this new master, Missy, is awesome. She's so good in the role, and I'm like, you know, that is an interesting angle to take it. For the first time, we've seen a Time Lord change genders. And that is interesting. I'm intrigued. I want to know how. And she kind of mentioned that you left me kind of thing. I'm confused also. This is my theory. I mean, when Gallifrey was being sucked back in and he was fighting James Bond, and he regenerated, but did that take him to heaven and to the nether sphere while he was regenerating because dying? Are the drums still there? But I don't know. I don't know how all that ties in, but I think Gallifrey definitely in part 2 has to be referenced. I expect 10th Doctor references through the roof, especially towards the end of time story arc. That's what I really am expecting. We're going to get a lot more coverage on End of Time in the next episode. Okay guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Got more videos coming to you. Please discuss down in the comment section, I insist. And as always, allons-y.